to order, and would you call the roll, please?
Kinsey,
Here.
Logsdon,
Here.
Mossberg,
Here.
Parker,
Here.
Turner.
We have quorum, so we'll go on. Item 3, approval of minutes, regular meeting held November 12th.
I move we approve the minutes from November 12th. Second.
Call the roll.
Parker,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Turner, I'm sorry, Kinsey,
Yes.
Logsdon.
Yes. We'll go on to the next item, 4. Item number 4, reports from staff. A, city council report.
I don't have a lot. I think the last city council meeting we did take action to approve fuel purchase. It's on this agenda. We did appoint a task force for the development of the plan for the pool. And I think everything else I mentioned at the last meeting. Our personnel committee will be meeting tomorrow or Thursday? Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And the main focus of that meeting, I don't know, we'll probably talk about next step a little bit, but the main purpose of that meeting is going to be for the economic development.
Job description.
Joe, I don't know if you got anything to add?
No, we were working through the next step stuff. Now, we should have it all online in January.
I think, did I report about that at the last meeting? Alex? Well, not
No.
Alex, but it's a big project we got going on right now with, it's to improve efficiencies and whatnot with our and actually increase our fairness with our timekeeping, as well as, I guess tackle a few other small pieces that when you put them all together, it's a human resources department, which is what we contracted with Next Step, and they're a firm out of Norman, Oklahoma, that'll be handling all of our everything from background checks and whatnot to insurance and benefits and stuff. So the staff have been, council not so much, but the staff have been working hard to get all the employees switched over to that system and benefit structure to go live January 1st, if not sooner.
Yeah, we're planning on, they're still planning on to produce the first checks January 7th, or 2nd. So, everybody will have to have direct deposit accounts and have all that set up.
So is this a monthly expense to the city or
It's
Per pay period.
annual?
per pay period, based on the number of employees.
Yeah.
It's gonna,
But then when you do your background searches, is that,
It's all part of it.
it's all part
It's all
of it?
part of it, yeah.
so it's a per employee expense that we pay, and they provide their whole gamut of services for that per employee expense. And it could be anything from, legal counsel with regard to payroll or pay practices or employee hiring policies, stuff like that, to basically about everything you can think of.
I mean, it's a complete human resources department. Instead of having one person doing all of that human resources activities, we're gonna have multiple people at our disposal to do those activities. From, like I say, they've got 15 or 20 people in their benefits department alone.
It's gonna free up some office staff to take on some positions that we aren't going to have to hire. And it's gonna probably, they estimated around, I'd be lying lying to you if I tried to tell you the number, but a considerable amount of saving, tens of thousands of dollars in just,
About $50,000 worth of savings, cash savings.
Annually or
Yeah.
monthly?
annually. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have on anything, if I can.
Thank you.
Don't have anything? Any other thing, city manager report? No? We'll go on to the manager's report.
Okay, the last month was all kinds of decline due to the weather and stuff. Sold 1,393 gallons at the pump for $5,723. $5,700.23. Sold 419.4 off the truck for 1,803.42. So total 100 load lead sales last month, 1,809.7 gallons at 7,503.65. Put one truck transfer on the Jet A truck, 2,150 gallons. Last month was the first month I've ever seen more single point sales versus over wings sales. 545 gallons were over wing, 832 were single point for 1,377 gallons of Jet A sold at 4,681.80. Total fuel sales 12,185.45. We had a couple of quarts of oil sold at 21.32, and the tax on that was $1.98. Had no overnight hangers last month. Total sales 12,208.75. Got a spreadsheet of from November of 18 up into November of 19 that breaks down the months. Kind of a fuel report comparison that Angelica kind of bailed me out on. But it looks like most months, kind of like I was suspecting, most months are in average months, about 14,000. And when you have the good months, we're talking up in the 15, 16, 17. And we didn't have that one month last February when we had a lot of bad weather. We only did 8,000, a little over $8,000 worth of business. It's kind of the way this month was. We had that week before Thanksgiving, had all that wind that week. I know my last sale on the pump out here on the gas pump was Wednesday about noon, and we didn't have any transients, locals, anybody buy any fuel off the gas pump until Monday, December the 2nd. So went 4 days there. Then I only had 2 people stop in for fuel too, and we sold a little bit off of the Jet A truck and a little bit off the gas truck during all that bad weather. So that's about all I have on the fuel report. Had a lot going on last month. Had a leak on the swivel out here on the gas pump that went out. Got that fixed. We just ordered a new one and then ordered a kit to rebuild the old one, so we'll have it on hand. Dealt a couple of times last month with the severe notice that when we get a big, strong northwest wind or a west wind on the new hangar complex down here, the east doors it'll actually come off, they'll unlatch. So I got some hook things, and now when it gets windy, especially west or northwest wind, we try to go down there. It's just kind of a secondary device to keep the latches held in place during the strong winds. I'm going to try to get R&R out to look at it, see if we can do anything about it, but it's just always the east doors. The big deal, pardon?
The new set of or the old set of T-hangers at the north end have done that ever since they've been built. And the guys on the east side have auxiliary clamps.
Yeah, that's what I use. See, I didn't know they ever did it up there, and I've never seen the south share do it, but then north, that's the new complex.
The north shares do it.
Yeah, the way they latch, they just come down and hook, and then it
There's
gets
enough spring in the cables,
So,
so.
so anyway, we kinda dealt with that. The big thing that we had going on out here, it was kinda frustrating, was on the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, sometime after close of business at 5 o'clock, up until 23, till midnight, we lost internet and phone out here. And it been between SPI and AT&T, we were without it for an entire week, and it made it pretty hard to do business out here. That we were getting a lot of calls that our weather wasn't online, which if we don't have internet or phone, the weather won't show up for the pilots when they check the weather here. So I kinda stressed AT&T and SPI that I can go back to the old manual way of doing credit cards, which I can kinda keep up on the business end, but it was just really kind of frustrating that week, cause it went out on Wednesday and we didn't get it. And I talked to Joe Don about it, and I think he's talked to SPI about it too, and AT&T, so. See if we can, it was something that went wrong clear down at the main telephone office, and so that we didn't have anything out here, so. It's
It
like,
didn't affect the rest of the city?
nope, just this line. KNS, everybody else had it, we had nothing. I mean, there was no signal leaving the main telephone office, nothing, so. Like I said, when it rains it pours, had to, OCC showed up for an inspection. Once I got the internet back up, I was a week behind on my Oklahoma Environmental Service reporting stuff. And I had to have the monthly report in by 5 o'clock, so I had like an hour and a half to get everything caught up before 5 o'clock, but we got everything done. Only had one infraction on the OCC inspection, and he looked at everything. Every fuel pump in the state of Oklahoma has to have a little warning label on it now, so I've already got those on. When it gets warmed up, I'll get them slapped on, and we'll be back in compliance. So, Jake, the part-timer out here, Jake Darrow, he's in his last year of college. He hadn't been working a whole lot this semester. He's gonna work even less come January, because he plays baseball for the Rangers. So I talked to Joe Don a little bit about, he would like to see if he could stay on the payroll, and I told him with the next step thing, I think Joe Don's kind of looking into it. He'd like to stay on to be able to help me out at nights especially, and on weekends when he has a little time, but he's just not gonna have very much time. So we'll kind of see what we can find on that. And then Michael Martinez, he's the new part-timer. He started the 24th, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, or the Sunday Thanksgiving week, that week. So had 33 transit aircraft sign the book during the guest book during the month last month, and that is about all I have for my report. So,
Were you having fuel sales consistent with previous months up until the phone and internet problem, or could you tell it?
no, like I said, not. I mean, looking at our sheet over the last year, it just kind of. I mean, it's just a lot of it's weather dependent. I don't know what we can do to boost sales.
No, you don't think it had anything to do with not having internet or phones?
No, I don't believe so. So, our decline in November, you mean? I think it was more, like I said, that week before Thanksgiving. We had the big windstorm the Tuesday. Thanksgiving Day, you had rain. Friday, the visibility, the ceiling here was 300 foot with 1 mile visibility. Saturday and Sunday were terribly windy, so that basically took those last 5 days out of the month. There just wasn't a lot of transient traffic, and I think that's what it was. cause everything picked up on the first, I mean, on, come business after the weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, I mean, we started picking right back up, so I just think a lot of it was the weather. So, those last few days of the month. So,
Any other questions of the manager? If not, we'll go on to the next item. Item number 5, discussion and action to approve the fiscal year 2020 CIP plan.
Well, we finally got this in from Garver and discussed it with Toby of CEC. And because of our projects and the way they're gonna kind of play out, the recommendation is just to bank the money for 2025. And that's what the report reflects.
Is this,
So this is up here for start year of 2021.
Right.
So 2020 is on the last 5-year plan?
That was we did that last year.
Okay.
so is this,
We just rolled everything up from last year.
So are they did we have more expenses that used the 150,000, or are they anticipating costs to be higher for the project?
Well, they've got the cost for to completely redo the taxiway and apron is the way it's been engineered. Is 1.5 million.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you look at the 2019 CIP, for like year 2022, it shows that we should have banked up 465,000,
Mm-hmm.
and on the new one, it shows that we should have banked up 300,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's $165,000 difference. So, have we already used money?
Well, we've paid some money out for engineering fees, yes. And we're fixing to pay Garver to start wrapping up their contract about $55,000. And 50,000 of that will be reimbursed back to us.
Right. All right, I guess I was just trying to account for $165,000 difference between the two CIPs. Because it looks to me like they pushed everything out a year. And I was just curious as to, and I understand that and I assume like all these things I see for Garver in the financial report here are reimbursable
Yeah.
engineering expenses on this project. So I didn't
Well, I
know.
don't have the 2019, I got the 2018, but I don't have the 2019 in front of me.
I'll be right here. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. See if they showed by $2022, we're supposed to have $465,000. Estimated cost of that project at the time was $750 for the taxi and apron geometry phase $715,000, entitlement was $465,000. Additional AIP is $178,000, and match was $71,000.
And we've spent about, off our money, we've been reimbursed after we get we've been reimbursed to date with the 50,000 that we're going to get, 97,969. So once we apply for our final reimbursement, we'll get we'll have been reimbursed $97,969. Total budget for the project was $119,800, and the grant amount was $107,820.
So that's staying on schedule, pretty much, from what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I was just, I don't know, I got confused when we skipped the 2020 year in here on the CIP thing. I couldn't figure out where we'd spent the money, or if they thought the project was gonna cost more, and they needed to bank the extra year. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to say? Am I articulating?
I understand what you're trying
Yeah.
to say, but I'm not sure I understand why there's a discrepancy after.
Because, when we first started talking about this project, this was the CIP that we approved on it, with those amounts, which pretty much corresponds to what Joanne said. And so, but we show that we start rebanking in 2020, we start with the 165,000, we bank the funds, and that goes up through 2022, where we get 465,000, and basically have enough money to start.
Is there AIP funding in that?
It says for source funding AIP is all.
Oh, I mean the additional AIP.
That's additional.
It's over on the right, in your funding plan.
It's
Under
discretionary.
2022 is 178,000.
That'd be it, wouldn't it, about the difference?
That could be the difference then.
Was that discretionary money they had?
Well, they never, I don't know if they ever did anything with
I
it.
don't know if they
I
did.
hadn't heard anything about the discretionary money.
But I remember that would have been the money that they were thinking that we'd be eligible for.
Well, you mean when they were going for that extra money that they had? They said that they were going for enough to where we could do the entire project at once. So that would have been the whole 1.2 million.
Is that before or after we did that CIP?
I thought it was concurrent.
Concurrent?
Yeah, it was with what we had.
That's fine. And what you pointed out, Kel, may be right on that. I was just trying to figure out where the differences lie. And that could be the additional AIP money that we did not receive then. The reason they added the extra year then to bank to help pay for things.
That would make, yeah, that makes sense. Technical question, the agenda says the fiscal year 2020 CIP.
That is correct as for the forms being submitted to FAA. It's very confusing about the way that they do that, but we're submitting the 2020 for the 2021 to 2025 year.
Okay.
And you said you consulted Toby on this, and
Yes,
they're in line with what we see here.
yes.
Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. We need
I'm
motion?
satisfied.
I make a motion that we approve the CIP 20, I don't want to say 2021 through 2025.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Not call the roll?
Kinsey,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Mossberg.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go on to item 6, discussion on action to approve the final design of the terminal apron and taxiway project.
All right. Well, I've got a big copy out there for you to look at. What they're needing to know, one is, when do we want to go out for bid? That's one of the questions. And then the other question was, do we want to build the electrical as we go? or have one big project for the electrical?
The electrical being the new taxiway lights and that stuff.
Yes.
But we were going to make sure that the trunk line or
Yeah,
conduit was in anyway, whether we did it there or not, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
And the first phase of the project is just this half of this no wait, which one am I going?
This is north.
Okay, north, yeah. It'll be the north half of the ramp out here. And one of the things that they wanted to make sure you also understood is that with the new FAA designs, let's see if I can get down to it. On that ramp, we're only gonna be able to add, let's see, 6 additional tie downs.
I think that's what we had agreed on.
Okay.
I think they presented a cost for 4, 6, and 8, wasn't it?
Yeah. And now, yeah, that's the most that the 6 is the most that they can get in the space that's there.
In this plan.
Maybe it was just on there, it showed me, but it had the taxiways, it had a blow up of the, I saw, he had, yeah, here he is, of the way the tie downs would be located.
Yeah, but alternating facing east and west.
Yeah.
And so in this first phase, there was going to be no panel replacement in
No.
that area.
And they were gonna wait on demolishing the,
But what's in this,
we're gonna wait on demolishing these taxiways.
Yeah, they're not gonna demolish them, they're gonna take some paint and paint them as closed, but they're not gonna demo them.
Yeah.
so for, oh, that's phase 2, okay.
Yeah.
There. And this is phase 1, this is phase 2.
North is phase 1, south is phase 2, and then they'll paint this one closed. This will be new construction as 3. This will be as 4. And then if we want to just come in and do all the lighting at one time, and she says if a little bit as we go, lighting will be phase 5.
My opinion on that, because that gets pushing it a long way down the road, is to do a little as we go.
So it'll probably cost between $10,000 and $15,000 a year per phase as we do it as we go.
Per year, every year.
Per phase.
Okay. So they're talking. $120,000, right?
Yeah, that's roughly about what we were thinking.
All right, so I see what you're saying. This map they provided here, where they say this is phase 1 construction, you're looking at those hatch marks.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like not only are they doing that ramp thing, but then they're starting the new You see if the cross, see the cross hatching there matches right there, they'd be doing what, the first 20 feet of that or something as well.
Well, that's
It's,
this down here, isn't it?
Right, yeah, it's not,
No.
they're not showing the whole thing, they're just showing, doing part of it.
it's a demo of that.
Demo of that, okay. But they're not showing, because the crosshatch changes. They don't show all the same crosshatch according to this. It just shows
What page
partial.
are you on? Page 9.
He's talking about this thing.
See, if you look at your key there, or your legend, with the crosshatch, where it says phase 1, see, they're just doing a partial part of it. Just like they are there.
They're going in opposite directions.
Yeah, well, so see, one's phase 1, one's
one's
phase
phase
2.
two.
So it's like they're doing half there and half here. So they're doing half demolition? They're just gonna tear it up and we can't do anything with it?
No, my understanding was,
Are they-
after talking to him,
Are they demoing it enough to do the electrical and then not fixing
They-
it back?
No, we didn't discuss that with the electrical. All we discussed on the electrical were the questions that he wanted to know is whether or not to do it all as one or one. I didn't see what you're talking about. I mean, I just got these last Friday.
And I just got mine today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was looking, and that's one of the things that caught my eye was the.
Yeah, this is a closure. This is a demo. This will be construction.
And this one's a demo.
And then this demo.
Will that be a permanent closure?
Yes. They want it permanently closed because what they don't want is straight, I mean, they're not gonna demo it. They're just gonna close it. But, which would eliminate any FAA funds being able to be spent on it. But what they don't want is a straight shot from hangars to the runway. They want you to have to stop,
Taxi.
make a decision, and then
Keeps-
go.
Yeah, keeps the airplane from inadvertently going right
Right.
straight to the runway.
Right.
Some student or something that doesn't realize he's on the runway.
On the runway.
Yeah, that's what he said, you know, they want you to be able to make stop,
Yeah.
make a decision, then go.
So this project, you said total cost was 1.5, 1.2?
1.5, yeah, roughly 1.5.
And this first phase is about 650,000, so we're
Yes.
spending a little less than 50% done. So the second phase then is where the extra money comes in. We're doing this and that. Okay.
And if the additional AIP funding were to become available, we would roll future phases up in.
Right.
So,
And Toby will be more involved with
we're,
the design of the future ones than he is involved with this one. Toby's gonna, on this one, we're gonna set the bid date on when we wanna bid it out. Garver's gonna prepare all the documents, advertise the bid, and basically they're done. And Toby takes over the bidding process and construction oversight and everything else.
So is this accurate, as of the end of this fiscal year, we banked the 650,000?
I would believe so, yeah. I haven't been, since I got this documentation, I haven't been able to get all the FAA, but to confirm anything, but I would assume we've got that banked right now.
So there's no problem with going out for the first phase, for what we're talking about, that north half there, for going out and getting bidding?
I'd say start after the first of the year.
Okay.
I mean, my recommendation would be start after the first of the year.
Okay.
Set our bid date, January 15th. thereabouts. I don't know what day that is.
What,
January 15th.
it is a Wednesday, look at that. Yep.
So-
It starts on 13th.
So my recommendation would be to, well, we told them to, we would advertise for bids on the 15th. That would be, we could start with actually, we wouldn't be able to start advertising until Friday, the following Friday, because of, when they run legals. And 22 days out, we'd be opening bids. February, we've been opening bids, accepting them at the, it'd be mid-February, probably looking at accepting bids in March, start construction in April.
Depends on the bid, whether it starts in April or, what kind
Yeah,
of contractor schedule.
Timing-wise of the year.
Yeah.
All that.
But I mean, yeah, I'm sure all of the construction people are wanting to schedule their summer work
Yeah.
as early as possible, so. Okay,
So we need to, very approve the CIP, so we just need to.
what do you need to tell me?
Answer the electrical.
Answer the electrical
and we need
question.
to bid.
Whether you want to do it all as we go, or in one, phase, so I can let them know. And then,
So if we're looking at $100,000 for the electrical,
If you're breaking down the 4
Roughly.
phases, it's 25,000.
huh,
And then they're looking at 4 phases, right?
yeah,
That's 25 grand a phase. I mean, we have funds where we could support that.
right.
I mean, that's reimbursable later on somewhere.
yeah,
And we do have, I bet it, actually, it would probably be, it would be more cost effective to,
that's kind of right.
And we've got the money set in there.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing.
being that we probably do have the money.
doing, and I think the only time,
I'd just worry,
there's gonna be some
when you don't
issues, I
do the whole
think,
thing all at once, and then you do
with the
part of
lighting
whole
up
thing.
here, because we're all on one circuit. And they're gonna have to be doing some workarounds when they start this, to make sure there's lighting up here on the new runway.
Well, it seemed like when Jeremy Wheeland was with Gardner, there was discussion about having a second circuit for the new lights.
And I think that's still the discussion, because we'd add that second circuit, but somehow we've gotta keep this lit
Right.
while we're breaking circuits down here too.
So it makes more sense to do it as, because you've got it already, you've got some major electrical that you've got to change on this first project, and you wait and hold it till the last,
Really good.
you're gonna be cutting and coming back.
Unless we did it first.
Did you have reservations? You think we should do it all at once?
Well, if we do it all at once, I say we do it on the front end, not the back end. If we're not gonna do it all at once on the front end, then we phase it out, is my opinion.
Is the lighting important enough to go ahead and just upfront the 100,000?
My reservation, doing it all up front and it's not as big a reservation as waiting to the end to do it all. But my biggest reservation doing it all up front is what kind of change orders we end up looking at, or other types of issues when we get into actually doing the future phases, that unforeseen circumstances, whatever they may be, that ends up causing us to change what we already did.
Well, if you do it up front, you don't have your new taxi.
Demolition and taxiway stuff done.
Yeah,
I think we should do it as we go.
I'll give it a, yeah, I'll give it that.
Because what all is the electrical cost for as far as the project?
Well, it's on your back page in there. They show what the new one was, what the old one was, what the new one was. It's basically taking down the reflectors on the taxiway and
Yeah.
putting up lights. That's what it basically amounts to, so the entire length of that taxiway. So like here, it was taking out all those red ones and putting in all these blue ones.
Rangers to Bulldogs.
So see, when they demo this one, they have to take out the lights. So if they do it as they progress, otherwise you'll have no taxiway and lights.
And if it's on its own circuit, then we don't bother the right of way while they're doing it.
Do you need a motion? Just guidance?
I just need direction. Tell them.
Well,
I mean,
I think mid-January, or go out for bids mid-January, and electrical as we go.
okay,
Yeah,
all right,
okay,
that's what I'll call them tomorrow.
okay. No further action on 6, so we'll go on to item 7, discussion and action to acknowledge the purchase of 100 low-lead aviation gasoline for Alva Regional Airport in the amount of $27,611.81.
So moved.
Call the roll.
Sorry, my technology's running behind. Parker,
Yes.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Mossberg,
Yes.
Logston.
Yes. We'll go on to item 8, remarks and inquiries by airport commission members. You guys have anything? No? If not, we'll go on to item 9, remarks and inquiries by citizens.
That's me. I appreciate you guys being here, and I just want you to know how much I appreciate the fact that you guys spent the money to put the grass strip in. I found myself the other day coming in a severe wind that was directly from the west, or almost from the west, and I was forced to use the grass strip, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. I would have been forced to move to another airport had it not been here, so I appreciate the foresight. Enough with the thanks. Now then, it was a little rough. Wasn't perfect. Don't expect it to be on a grass strip. But I would strongly encourage, I think it's a perfect start, and I would strongly encourage you all to talk to a horticulturalist, somebody who knows how to grow Bermuda grass, right? That's got a degree, and I think OSU Extension agent might be somebody that you could reach out to, somebody that's got a good idea, and see if we could get that covered. You got to spend a lot of money sprigging, and it's great, and it certainly worked. It has certainly worked, but it would be awesome if it was a little smoother. Again, I appreciate you all doing that, spending the money. We have a fantastic airport. I get to use it a little, and I really, really, really appreciate it. Greg does a terrific job taking care of us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Anything else from any of the citizens? If not, next item is to adjourn.